up, y'all? Welcome to the second episode of the Vinyl Rack podcast. And this is actually the first ever stream of the Vinyl Rack podcast. So, where did he go?
He hopped in a different channel.
Oh,
Cool.
for a show. Well, this is the correct channel, right? Okay, yeah, this is the correct one. All right. We already went live anyway, so it's not gonna matter. Yeah. So once again, this is our first ever live stream of this podcast. I live stream on my own sometimes, but anyway, my name is Kazu, aka Rage KG, aka I can't really think of any anymore. I had so many in the first episode, but you know what? Just call me Kazu. And welcome to Vinyl Rack episode 2. And with my co-host Kwan. Say hi.
Yo,
Say hi.
I'm a co-host. What? All right.
Or
How's it going?
Or one of the 3 hosts. Should we put it that way? Yeah. I think that's more fair.
It's just a talk show with all hosts, no guests.
All hosts, no guests.
Let's call that. That's the new title of this podcast. All hosts, no guests.
Yeah. And then we also have Jesse, Master Jess, in the building. What up?
How's it going? Thanks for having me on, as always.
Yeah.
Anybody happens to be really into Battlefield 1 streams or World War 1 in general, hit me up on Twitch. My tag is Space Echoes.
Space Echoes. Hell yeah. Actually, you said Battlefield 1 and World War 1 stream. So does that mean you also talk about like World War 1 history and stuff like that too, or?
I talk about the little bit that I know, which is like the basics, like Zimmerman Telegraph.
Yeah.
And all that happened with that, and the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Mm-hmm.
But more than the history, which is very interesting,
Yeah.
I am more so into looking fly as F
Okay.
in those cool capes, and they look like something from like a Wes Anderson movie, because it's 1918 kind of aesthetic and regalia they have on, and they just look super fly. Like digital camo just cannot compete with a rad cape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's most of why I play Battlefield 1.
Okay. Yeah, no, I really enjoy your stream because of just how eccentric you are, and also at the same time there are those what do you call those blimps that just like falls like on top of you and stuff, like it's like the Led Zeppelin album cover, you know, like it's like
the Zeppelins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of battle Zeppelins going on in that stream. That's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but
it's pretty fun. You're like, no, we gotta run away. We can't. It's falling on us. So
I think that
I love that.
I think you're referencing like the latest clip that I made when I was going on some conquests on there. But yeah, no, for sure.
Makes sense. Yeah. Sam, welcome to the stream. Also, Birdie.
Oh, Sammy, what up?
Birdie, thank you so much for coming into the stream last night, and yeah, welcome to Vinyl Rack. Yeah, we're just doing it out here. And for those, if this is your first time ever watching this podcast, I know this is only the second episode, but what we do is we're here talking about Zoomer music, or what I call an urban outfitters genre. And the thing is, like, all 3 of us are pretty, I'd say, fairly knowledgeable about music, and we talk about music a lot of the times, but the thing is, we're not really familiar with the Zoomer area of things. So what we're doing is, for each episode, we cover an artist and talk about it. So last week we did it on Rex Orange County, who is basically a yacht rock adult contemporary for the Zoomer age, which was I think we had pretty good discussion about that, you know. And today we're gonna be talking about the one and only Joji. So I was actually pretty stoked to get in and talk about him because yeah, he's in a really interesting realm, don't you guys think? I feel like it's R&B, but also at the same time it's the guy was like a really well-known YouTuber in the beginning, so I wonder if people found out about him through just going to his like channel and then transitioning into his music, or if a lot of these like fans are just like straight up listening to his music and it's like, yeah, I could fucking vibe to this, but not know anything about Filthy Frank or anything like that. You know,
Yeah.
So I think there's like a
Yeah, do Zoomers even know about Filthy Frank? I feel like it's a little bit dated, and like it's like a millennial thing, right?
I didn't even know. I think that's more just because like I was out of the know about Filthy Frank. I knew obviously about other like YouTube kind of like shock jockey kind of channels and vlogs.
Yeah.
But I never happened upon his. It kind of is interesting. I didn't really connect the two. I did, like when I listened to like his more current music, it definitely didn't come across as like jokey or like brash. So
Okay, it looks like Birdie speaking for all the Zoomers.
Yeah.
He says he knows about Frank, so.
But just haven't really seen him beyond the memes. But wait, you said speaking for all the Zoomers. I don't even know if Birdie's a Zoomer though. Oh, Alex is in. Hey, Alex, how's it going, man? Alpal79. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is exciting. Yo. No, that's cool. So yeah, it's the last time like we talked about starting off with what the fuck is this? An error. The error is not occurring. Okay, here we go. But yeah, last week we simply just talked about, you know, Zoomer genre in general before we spoke about Rex Orange County, and I've always thought like that was just it was a really interesting topic, knowing that like Alex, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. It'll be cool if you come on a pod sometimes too. Maybe we'll discuss some music that you may be interested in. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we talked about, Jesse told a story about buying like an old cassette player or Walkman and giving it to your friend and such. And we talked about Krogsley record players, and I don't know, it's just such a strange world where things are just vintage but also so modern. And yeah, I thought it was just like a really interesting topic to get into. But I don't know, before we get into talking more about Joji, how did you guys feel about what were you guys thoughts on the first episode after we did it? Like did you guys enjoy doing it? Like, was that something like, did it make you look forward to listening to more of this type of music? Or
yeah, it was cool. I really liked it just for the fact that one, it gives us a chance to like get together and hang out, and then two, like it kind of forces us maybe out of our comfort zones or out of the things that we regard as kind of like, you know, our wheelhouse and our usual music, and opens us up to some new different stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Kwan?
Out of a great time, man. That's why I'm back. I'm here to do it again, live on twitch.tv.
Yeah, if you had a terrible time, then like you totally been like, nah, fuck this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck this podcast you started. Yeah, but why don't we go ahead and get started? So, Joji, his full name is George Tsunoki Miller, and he is 28 years old. And yeah, he's originally from Japan, and he basically began his career as Filthy Frank. And if you guys aren't familiar with Filthy Frank, it's a show with a lot of shock humor where he creates a lot of imaginary characters and just kind of has like a universe of his own, but a lot of them is just it would be like a really random sketch, and where all these characters are basically played by him, and you know, just a lot of, he'll say some just like really odd, nasty shit a lot of times, and of course like certain things just won't make any sense, but that's like the charm of the channel, you know, is it's basically rowdy internet humor.
Yeah, also very politically incorrect and stuff.
Exactly. Like politically incorrect or whatever. You know, so he'll have random videos like how to say what do you call, like, you know, 420 blazon in Japanese. So like he'll like write it down on like in a calligraphy style, like on a piece of paper, and he'll just put it on a wall and be like, this is how you say it, 420 moyase, or whatever. So like there's like a lot of random content like that, and a lot of the stuff that I really enjoyed from Filthy Frank was it would just be him just being in front of the camera, just talking about his complaints about the world or whatever. And I think one of his most well-known video was him talking about weeaboos.
Yep, that's the one I watched.
Yeah, and yeah, it still gains like millions and millions of views on it. I mean, it's a really well-known video, but yeah, and so but after he did Filthy Frank for a little bit, he decided to quit that channel just kind of all of a sudden. You know, there wasn't really like I don't think there was any sort of like ending to the thing, and it just he was just like, no, I'm done. And
apparently he had health issues that prevented him. You know, that's what he said. He had health issues
that's one
that where he couldn't do it anymore. And yeah, I was looking into him because he's just such an interesting dude. But like, yeah, he leaked that video where he was like super honest and out of character, right? And then and then immediately removed it. And it was just kind of like a look into the real guy, the guy behind all the characters.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the funny thing is, like, even while he was Filthy Frank, he did make music as Pink Guy, which is another character in the Filthy Frank universe, where he's dressed up in pink tights and he makes these like really funny rap songs, you know. So yeah, so it's like a little alter ego that he had. And the thing is, like, ever since he started Filthy Frank, and even before that, him and his friends would make songs like just for fun. So music has always been in him, you know.
Yeah.
Now after he quit the show, he decided to take it more seriously, and that's what Joji is, and that's kind of how it's going right now. And
also, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but
go for it.
His like biggest contribution was the Harlem Shake. You guys remember the Harlem Shake?
Yeah, that's right. He did Harlem Shake. That's a big one.
That came from him.
He went so viral that it pushed the Harlem Shake like up in the charts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, like he was the one, cause I don't know if cause I know, cause when was the video made, like soon as the song was released, or like cause the thing is, like, he wasn't necessarily like doing it to promote the song specifically. It was just like a really silly fucking video of him just dancing to it, you know. And
Yep, just like the Harlem Shake. And then it became viral and everybody did the Harlem Shake.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that, you know. I was just like, Harlem Shake, what is this BS?
Yeah, it's kind of like the what was that thing with like Ray Shrimmer's song where like everybody had to like kind of stop from the mannequin challenge.
Mannequin challenge.
It's almost kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, but we decided to go with Joji for the topic, and we all listened to his music, and we're just gonna give our little thoughts and just talk even more. But also, fun fact, the crazy thing is, so his EP In Tugs was peaked at like number 58 on Billboard, and his debut studio album was basically reached number 1 on top R&B and hip hop album, and basically through that, he became the first Asian-born artist to do that. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
You know,
I had no idea.
Coming from Filthy Frank, and he's making this fucking Asian revolution happening, you know? It's such an interesting thing. And I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that he was gonna gain this much attention when he first released his stuff as Joji. So yeah, it's fucking nuts. Would you guys like to make a guess on how many monthly listener Joji has?
This is a great game. I love this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you guys say Joji compares to like to like last week's episode?
Like Rex Orange County, you mean?
Yeah, Rex Orange County.
Yeah.
In terms of listeners, is he more or less?
I forgot how many was his.
So Rex Orange County was close to about 10 million.
He had a few mil. Yeah.
10 million monthly listeners or so. Yeah.
Okay. I would say less, but
Less?
still in the millions.
I don't know, because he has that. It's tough because he had that YouTube fame, right?
Yeah, but people don't know.
They don't necessarily connect Joji.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Filthy Frank. Okay. I'm gonna say it's less. I'm gonna say like 4 million. Wait, no. Is this monthly listeners?
Yeah, monthly listeners. Yes, monthly listeners.
Okay. Because he's more accessible. The sound is more accessible.
Yeah, so here I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an answer. So this one fucking surprised me too. Joji has a whooping 14,264,000 monthly listeners.
That makes sense.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's a lot.
And the thing is, I think it has something to do with the record label that he signed to called 88 Rising. And what they do is they sign a lot of Asian artists who's in the category of like R&B and hip hop.
Yeah, I think that's an artist as well, right?
It's the label. So like if you look at the 88 Rising on Spotify, there will be like a collaborative project called 88 Rising. So it'll just be like a bunch of the label mates together doing their like basically releasing their stuff, you know? Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of people, and the thing about 88 Rising is, for some reason, like a lot of their artists gets attention from like Indonesia, Jakarta, because there's this one artist named Rich Brian, who's an Indonesian rapper, who got his fame through like one video. And the funny thing is, he started off doing comedy style rap, and then he decided to go serious, you know, because people saw some talent in him. And super young kid too. I think he's like 18 or 19 or something like that right now. But when he started out and just releasing a song, it was like when he was 16. So yeah, it's crazy. But I looked up what city has the most listeners for Joji, and that's LA with 250,000 people listening. So somehow people in LA likes Joji.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll break down.
Yeah, I feel like we're like the primary music listeners when it comes to. The thing is, like when I look up artists and see like what city listens to them the most, it's either LA or Chicago. Like it's between those two. So yeah, so we decided to give it a shot with his stuff. In total, he has an EP and some singles, and 2 albums. So, but yeah, I didn't expect like everybody to just like listen to everything. I mean, I didn't listen to completely everything, but I pretty much listened to a good amount of like each of those projects. And yeah, I had fun with it. But before I talk more about it, I feel like you guys should state some of your opinions. But what did y'all think of Joji's music?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first.
All right. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Joji. I thought his music was very kind of like pensive. Like I listened primarily for like, so that we have a point of reference, I listened primarily like Ballads and Nectar, like the latest 2.
Yeah, those 2.
The last 2 kind of full length releases, and within Ballads, I kind of caught on to some of the more like radio friendly kind of hits that also happen to chart. Like Slow Dancing in the Dark.
Dope, yeah.
And Yeah Right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And they were pretty cool. It kind of showed off like a sort of studio kind of like comfort level. Like he was already kind of making that kind of hip hop thing with his like YouTube stuff, but then this obviously I feel like it carried right over because he was, you know, throwing trap beats in on like Slow Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah.
He was like Yeah Right, he was doing like layered sampling, and some of them being like lo-fi samples, which I loved. You know, he had a very interesting vocal delivery that I think is super indicative of like, you know, like the post DeMarco era, especially on Yeah Right. He kind of slurred his vocals up, which I think is like super. It's interesting. I think depending on how it's delivered, it could come off as like lazy, or it could come off as just like it's a vibe. Like it's like, you know. So yeah, those I listened. Those were like the vibes that I got when I was listening to Ballads 1.
Yeah.
I listened a little bit to Nectar as well. I think Nectar definitely had some like it felt and you guys can tell me if you agree with this or not. To me, it felt a little bit even more accessible, even more kind of a little bit polished.
No, definitely polished for sure. That's the indication of Nectar.
Yeah, it was super interesting. Like I remember listening to TikTok, and like that song in particular, it had like a Nelly-esque sample, like that little thing.
Yeah.
It had like more pop singing. It was kind of Drakey.
Yeah.
So if you're into it for that, if that R&B kind of hip hop crossover vibe works well for you, Joji, he kind of scratches that itch. You know?
No, definitely. That's why I find him to be such an interesting artist, and I definitely want to look into more of his release in the future. But Kwan, what are your thoughts on Joji's music?
I think the way he raps, I don't know, like if Jesse, you were kind of going off of sort of like, I don't know, if mumbly is like the right kind of way to describe it,
I think, yeah, I think especially in Ballads 1, like he was doing.
Is it like a mumble rap? I don't even listen to mumble rap. Is it?
It has a mumble rap. It has a mumble rap vibe to it. That's a thing.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, it trips me out that it's like, that this is Filthy Frank and Pink Guy, and it really just like he is kind of like capturing this like lo-fi kind of like, I don't know, renaissance, I guess. I don't even that like the lo-fi is kind of big, right? And I think he's kind of like capitalizing on that and really like captures sort of like this age in music that we're in. And I don't know, like I don't know if you watched any of his music videos, but watching his music videos, you just get this like really weird feeling. Like
it's a really ethereal vibe because it's so like there was I think the song was Sanctuary, and like there's another one called Run.
Yeah,
Run's music video is like pretty intense. But before we move on, Cordy Poo, thank you very much for following. Thank you very much for the follow. And thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks to Nya in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. The what was I gonna say? So
Run music video.
Yeah, music video. Yeah, so the Run music video was really cool, and it still really trips me out because I still do see him as Filthy Frank, but then like such an interesting. And when you watch the Run music video, you get such an interesting portrayal of him, and it almost seems like, how you're talking about how he released the last video before ending Filthy Frank. It's almost like Joji is some sort of like darkness that was like hidden inside him while he was putting out those videos. I feel like a lot of comedians or like people who are like known to be funny, they hold something in, and I feel like Joji is the project that he uses to like express that, as much as you can, because it's a really eerie and moody vibe. So that's the impression that I get from it.
I don't know, it kind of reminds me a little bit like Donald Glover, like he has like really quirky music, and then like he'll drop like This Is America, and like it's super serious and like this commentary on America itself.
I definitely get that. That resonates with me a lot. Like the whole deep, like the kind of like heaviness of his music, and of like maybe it's the heartbreak he's talking about, or maybe it's just the malaise, but it all kind of syncs up with that, so it can add a heaviness to it.
Plus Donald Glover being like also an actor doing comedy mostly, like the
multi-talent aspect there.
Definitely. yeah, kind of like Joji was like that in the beginning. Then he got all serious.
Yeah. Can you guys see, especially with Joji getting, starting from Filthy Frank and getting millions of subscribers on YouTube, then starting music seriously and going on Billboard, how far do you think this man could go? Especially as you guys mentioning that he's a Renaissance man, and knowing that somebody like Childish Gambino / Donald Glover, he's done stand-up comedy, fucking writing a TV show, to making music and stuff like that. I mean, how far do you think Joji could go? Do you think he could be in like a feature film or something like that?
I could see that. Yeah. The new Spider-Man.
He's got that the Suaviano like good looks.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him kind of like
he's like a Peter Parker,
randomly getting like cast, a certain way, but
I mean, that'd be. I mean, I have no clue. But I could see him acting for sure.
Yeah, I think that's gonna eventually happen.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't heard more about his like acting career, because he got such a big following, and then he parlayed it into, Childish Gambino's route was more kind of like he was actor, and then kind of he happened his way into the music industry.
Yeah.
Whereas this way is like, he's a YouTube sensation that happened his way into the music industry, and so it seemed like it was more of a almost like in Donald Glover's like a top down kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus Joji, where it was kind of like this like explosion out and up.
Yeah, the thing is, even if you have like such a big career in YouTube, it's not like anybody could make music and suddenly, hit millions and millions of streams. You know what I mean? So part of me was thinking like, well, he's definitely not an industry plant, but the amount of promotion or
who, Joji or Donald Glover?
We can
Joji,
talk.
Joji.
Okay. We need to talk about who we think is definitely an industry plant, because I have ideas. I have thoughts.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's quite a bit. It's like there are definitely certain people that you probably listen to that's possibly an industry plant. I mean, what's the first person that you have in mind?
Do you guys? Well, there's the new guys, which I can go into, but do you guys believe the Beatles to have been an industry plant?
The Beatles.
I
mean, aren't they? I mean, weren't they like playing at a bar and shit like that? Like at first.
Yeah, they played the Cavern Club in like Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a little bit. I mean, they're good, but I don't know.
I feel like the music industry wasn't well developed back then in the 50s,
Yeah. All right.
If you speak of somebody like Billie Eilish, then it's like, yeah, I mean, she's definitely an industry.
I thought you were gonna talk about somebody newer.
We all know.
Beatles.
Like, we don't have to talk about Billie Eilish, because I think we've all just accepted at this point. Like, Homegirl's good, but like, I don't know. My brother isn't that good at Pro Tools shit. Like, if he was, I'd probably sound a lot better.
Yeah, but I mean, do you guys, at the end of the day, do you guys think Joji's an industry plant though, or no? No. He's like, I feel like he's popular in spite of the industry. Like, the industry's done nothing for him that I know of, that I could see. He's just, Yeah, but the thing is, like, even though Joji has like a huge amount of supporter, that also does like make me wonder if they're all really Filthy Frank fans right now, because
they're all just like really huge like Filthy. Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, people who watch Filthy Frank, or like a lot of his fans, seem to be people that come from like a 4chan or like whatever, or just like a very internet people. It can't, if it's more mainstream, then it must be some random fans discovering Joji through a huge playlist or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't So I don't know. I mean, I looked up on Reddit and I did a little Google search and typed in who thinks Joji is overrated and put Reddit, and that carried on to the conversation about hey, do any Filthy Frank fans like listen to Joji at all? And it was a really mixed discussion. I felt like they were saying something like, yeah, I prefer the Pink guy, or yeah, I'm not really into his music that much, or whatever. But I don't know, it probably depends on who you ask, because maybe more the people who commented were the ones that weren't into it anyway. So I can't.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it was the latter, if it was the opposite, you know?
Yeah. So
Seems about.
It's probably people that like.
It's about right.
Yeah, that genuinely liked him in the first place. Do you guys? All right, since you guys did listen to his music, what song stood out to you personally? Was there like anything that you had in mind that was like, you know, I could really fuck with this?
Yeah, Run was good. I like Run a lot.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like TikTok.
TikTok is fun. Yeah.
TikTok was just, I like the layers of it. That was the best thing, because it had like the hip hop R&B vibe to it, but then like it also had like a little like Koto sounding sample.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I thought that was really neat. It was layered. It had like it definitely had like a little bit of a downcast, like lo-fi vibe, kind of in your feels, but also just poppy enough to be accessible and a beat on its own.
Yeah. No, yeah, I thought TikTok was a really good track too. I really enjoyed this song called Daylight, but I gotta say, like, his most popular song, Slow Dancing in the Dark, it's really dope. It's a really dope track, and actually after even I listened through to like a lot of his material, I would still come back to that song. And currently the song is at 604 million plays on Spotify, so it's gonna get close to like 1 billion or so, maybe in about a year. It has a huge effect somehow, man. Yeah, it's a really, really cool fucking song. I was actually thinking about covering it or something at some point. But yeah, I really fuck with that. And Sanctuary is a really, really tight song. If you guys were to prefer to which album to listen to by him, would you pick Ballads or Nectar? Nectar, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Nectar. Not that Ballads didn't have its own kind of like charms to it, but I think Nectar it felt more cohesive. It felt more like,
yeah, it's like more polished, you know.
It's more polished. It sounds more like kind of like it really like kind of concentrates in on the stuff that I kind of liked about Ballads, because Ballads felt a little bit more sprawling in like the samples he throws in and the ideas. Not bad, but just kind of like it meanders a little bit, and whereas Nectar is kind of like a little bit more concentrated. It's a little bit more like you can bump it and it's a vibe immediately.
Yeah, I feel like he has more control over his voice. It's like more developed. Like he took like coaching vocal lessons and like really showcased how good his like singing can be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that there's like a couple songs off of Ballads where I felt like the singing was decent, but the most of it was just like him mumbling on a track. You know, it was it just feels like he wasn't utilizing his talent to the fullest. So like what Kwan said, I think he did take some sort of classes or
and I think that's what a lot of bands do too, right? Like by the time they're done with their first, and then before they go into their second, they really try to like nail down like their strengths, you know, whether it be guitar, vocals, or drumming or whatever. Sorry, Jesse, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah, I was just kind of trying to remember exactly. Basically, that it on Ballads 1, it really didn't feel like he was trying to put a vibe forward, like in like quote unquote mumble rap tracks. Like it feels like that's kind of what they're going for. They don't necessarily, you know, they wouldn't prefer perfect diction on the delivery, like, whereas I didn't really get that kind of buy-in from Joji. Like I didn't feel like he was kind of like trying to sound like he was you know, off his face on Lean. Like it just felt like he was just kind of like mumbling along. And there are some kind of songs where it did vibe with me, like it did kind of work with the vibe and the kind of like in your feels downcast thing. But on other times it just felt like, oh man, like I don't know. And that really wasn't apparent on Nectar at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of nailed his shit down, and it worked.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Nectar had such a like if you look at ballads and see that a lot of it was like trap beat, it has like a more homemade vibe to it. But Nectar was like, dude, there was like some orchestral shit happening, you know, like like layer wise, there was some strings. I mean, like the really crazy synthesizer and stuff. So yeah, he really upped his game on that album. Like there was like a plan, you know, for sure. And I remember when we did the Rex Orange County episode, I remember Jesse was asking, hey, you know, I wonder what his influences are. I think that was probably you, Kwan, that said it. You were wondering what his influences were. Would you guys like to guess his influences?
Like as he stated them?
Yeah, as he stated them, yeah. There's a few, and
I just don't know R&B that well.
it doesn't have to be R&B. It could be anything. Like, what do you think? Like he
Yeah, no, I think it's like, yeah, I think it's a lot of R&B artists, but like, yeah, I just don't fucking know any R&B artist.
So one of the influence is actually the person that we already mentioned while we were doing this live stream. You know who?
The Beatles.
No, not the fucking Beatles. Like
Billie Eilish.
No, who else would we talk about? Who's the Renaissance man?
Oh, Donald Glover.
Yeah, he mentions
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, he mentions Donald Glover as an influence, also alongside Radiohead and Shlomo. Shlomo's a kind of like a really moody electronic artist. You guys,
I could see that because he's a little bit more involved with the production and a little bit more like that.
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me with Shlomo.
Yeah, so I'd say like even with like a lot of his singing and like when he tries to use falsetto or whatever, like I don't know if he's necessarily trying to implement a Tom York vibe in there, but
yeah, the falsetto is like a really interesting thing because I think it definitely gives you another vibe. Like it kind of feels more like that kind of like Anthony and the Johnsons for like the millennial crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know who else would have done that. Anthony and Johnson. I guess James Blake was like the newer one.
James Blake, I definitely could say that James Blake probably influenced him too. Actually, it says, I'm reading a little bit of article on here, but it does say Joji has been compared to electronic artist James Blake. So you hit the nail on the head right there. Yeah,
it's just that's the vocal vibe, and then with the like pared down kind of almost sometimes lo-fi and like dark toned kind of like samples, that makes sense on those songs.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It also says here, as far as music inspirations are concerned, Joji once said that his music was inspired by his time growing up in Osaka, and furthermore by boom bap instrumentals he listened to while attending Canadian Academy. So I think like the certain koto sound, or like maybe like some Asian instrument that gets like utilized in there.
What is it? Boom bat?
Boom bap instrumental. So boom bap is something. It's like it's a hip hop instrumental with like a really simple drum beat. It's an old school sound. So it's like, or it could be like slower than that. But you know, I would say like a lot of 90s hip hop is like pretty much boom bap, you know.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so he was influenced by that, so I feel like that led him to starting this style of project. But yeah, I really find that to be interesting. Also, he's half Japanese, which you guys knew, but what's his other half?
White,
but what's you know,
what, like nationality of white?
Yeah. What nationality of white?
Or like subgroup.
Is it Australian?
Yes. Yes, he is half Japanese and half Australian. He's an Aussie.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? But you know what? Overall, I did enjoy his music, and I do want to come back to some of the stuff that he made. And here's another question that I just had in mind. Do you guys prefer listening to Joji or Rex Orange County?
Definitely Joji, man.
Yeah.
Joji all the way.
I think they scratch different itches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Joji's the more kind of... He's, like, more... Like, top 40 on top of his shit, doing it. Kind of artist.
No, for you? Like, are you just mean in general?
I guess for me, but, like, also in general, I don't think Rex Orange County, like, does, like, he's not gonna throw a fat trap beat and like a bunch of samples together. Like, it seems like more like he's coming at it from a more kind of traditional songwriter. Like, you play the chords, you get a melody and an idea, and you put it down.
Yeah, he's definitely more interesting.
Yeah, Birdie here says listen to very little of either, but Joji probs. So there's a little consensus right there. I think the funny thing about Rex Orange County is that it's just such a, I don't know, like when you compare it to Joji, it feels like such kids music. I don't know, like it does, like it feels like Rugrats or something. I know that.
Kid games.
It's kind of got more of that like wholesome vibe.
Yeah.
It's like if Rex Orange County is like 11, 12-year-old that hasn't hit that depressing like preteen like existential crisis, and Joji's like the 16-year-old that's like, oh man, like I'm barely escaping bullying at high school. This is horrible. And the girl that I like, I don't know if she likes me back. I don't know. I guess Rex Orange County is a lot more kind of romantic confusion and excitement, and like Joji kind of is more like, oh man, like shit's weird, bro. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I may have PTSD, or I might just be in my feels. Like, I don't know.
It's definitely like one of those vibes where, yeah, like you said, the person hasn't, with Rex, it's like he hasn't really experienced like, well, I mean, it's kind of fucked up for me to say that he hasn't experienced true sadness or whatever, but it's like Joji has such a tripped out vibe that it's different, you know what I mean? Like, but it's still pop music.
It's a lot darker.
Dark, yeah, it's fucking dark.
Like, when I don't, like, you can listen to a whole Joji record and just like you might bop to it, but you're not gonna feel good about yourself in the world out. It's not life you don't listen to it to be life affirming. Like, whereas like Rex Orange County, you can kind of get away with that. You can listen to that and be like, he relates to me.
I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. I kind of disagree with that take, but like I would totally listen to Joji like fucking on LSD or mushrooms or some shit, and probably like just be like super into it, you know?
And your mind, man.
Like, damn, dude, life-changing experience. I'm gonna fucking become a Twitch streamer now.
Yeah, imagine being on LSD and watching the Run music video. Oh, that'd be.
Oh yeah, that'd be freaky. Yeah.
That'd be a fucking trip. Like.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch his videos.
Not even.
It'd be like bad trip.
Yeah, it's yeah, fun stuff. Now I'm wondering, just like how we talked about how we see the appeal of Rex Orange County for the Urban Outfitters audience, what do you guys what do you think is the appeal that that certain audience sees in Joji? You know, where they want to listen to him like that, they want to put his record on stock and stuff.
I feel like it's so weird to me because it's this weird mix of like Rex Orange County's music seems so much more like kind of positive, and on the surface of it, like that should yield more numbers and more popularity. But honestly, I think Joji is a lot more in line with the current zeitgeist, the current vibe, post-recession, current pandemic. Shit is weird. Shit is fucked up. We don't really know exactly how it's going to look in the future. I think it's interesting because he's more experimental and he's more kind of like I could see Urban Outfitter, consumer, like millennial Zoomers rushing to him that like we're really into burial and we're really into like just weird in your head vibey music that's us like that it's a little bit more pensive and like dark. And I don't see that with Rex Orange County at all.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot. I feel like Joji would hit a lot more, and maybe this is just my opinion. You could tell me what you think, Kwan. Like Joji hits with the 17 to 25-year-olds. I think.
Definitely older crowd, for sure, that are like, I guess, more mature and like had more experiences.
Yeah, and also with the vibe of the music too, since it does have the more modern trap style beat to it, I feel like current R&B listeners will go towards Joji, and since Urban Outfitters does carry, that type of music, I feel like it will go towards like, hey, if somebody's looking into like a more moody R&B, you could check out Joji, so
that makes a lot of sense. Like like if you listen to Migos but you want to think a little more, like Childish Gambino's perfect. Like if you're jumping off of Childish Gambino and you're like, I kind of want more of that, like Joji is your vibe. That is the vibe on deck.
Yeah, Birdie in a comment, he says Orange County is the positivity you want, but Joji is easier to relate to, so it just depends on what you want at the moment. So I think definitely aligned with like what you were saying, Jesse. On
Reach Birdie, yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, I feel like it is a lot of it's about, I hear heartbreak in a lot of his music, and especially with listening to like Slow Dancing in the Dark, it's if he's talking about some other chick that's with another dude and or whatever, and you don't want to be with me anymore, or, yeah, so it's it is relatable in that sense, and I could see it appealing to that crowd. Now that I know that you two are more familiar with Joji and you guys seem to be into him and such, can you see yourself coming back to his music?
Oh yeah,
I
totally.
think so. I have to be.
Yeah.
I think I would have to be in a certain headspace for it. Like I would have to really be wanting that, like in my feels kind of thing, but then also like that kind of twitchy kind of like sometimes he goes trap and hip hoppy and R&B in that little pocket of groove and like twitchy like trap triplet stuff. Yeah, no, I'm gonna come back to it. I think it's just, a matter of when.
I feel like he's the type of music, he's the type of artist that grows on you as you like when I come back to him, I'll like him even more than I did in the beginning. He's just kind of like, ages well.
And he's the kind of guy where like some of his collabs have been really good with like really kind of interesting like prolific artists that in their own right are really good. And he kind of like spreads the gamut. It's not just hip hop. Like he's not just in the hip hop circles. He's not just in the electronic circles. He kind of like he's getting some love and respect from both sides, which is kind of hard to do. Not a lot of artists will necessarily do that.
It's
so
really,
I think that shows he's reached a level of popularity that has given him like a level of acceptance within the industry, which is really cool to see.
Yeah,
like he's gone with like Clams Casino and Diplo, who are two like
Casino, definitely
two like titans in their own right in electronic. And then he's also like had collabs with like Lil Yachty.
Yeah, Lil Yachty and Trippie Redd, so he does have respect in both of those. And I wonder if I wonder if those guys were familiar with Filthy Frank stuff at all.
Oh, totally. Yeah, not totally. They are.
You know, I could see Diplo just like coming into the studio meeting like Joji for the first time, be like, "What's up, man? Fuck with Filthy Frank. Love your videos, dude. Now let's make some music." And yeah.
He's also kind of like on top of like being accepted by more kind of like, you know, bigger collaborators, more well-known collaborators. He also has like contemporaries that are kind of at his level, or maybe even a little bit less known than him, and he's kind of putting them on to other people, which is kind of cool too. Like he I know he's played with Omar Apollo, who's like, he's in that kind of like Latin R&B niche, which is cool. Latin and American.
Kind of post DeMarco-ish too, right?
Yeah, in his own right. He has chorus on guitars and different things like that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And like Eve Toomer, who I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't listened to too much of their music, but I think it's also R&B, but maybe more from like the black tradition.
I believe so. I'm not familiar with Eve's music.
Chat can fact check me on that.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna base it off of like the related artists in there, which, oh wait, but it says, all right, it says fans of Eve Toomer also likes One O Tricks Point Never, so it's more in like the experimental lane, possibly
electronic. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, something like that, because there's also like there's also Arca in there too, so I think
oh
I think Eve Toomer is probably in the sector of the experimental electronic music. So wow, so he's covering all grounds right now. Fucking Omar Apollo, Eve, Diplo, Lil Yachty. I mean, that's crazy, the amount of collabs that he's coming in with.
Yeah, definitely. That's it's prolific, and it's interesting. It really makes you wonder kind of what does the future hold for Joji, because he's got his foot a little bit in like both camps of like experimental / electronic, R&B / hip hop. He's not really limiting himself, and it's interesting because he does both kind of vibes pretty well. Like, I'm not disappointed by what he's put out. I also haven't felt like it's necessarily changed the game.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So
like he hasn't explored new territories. Is that what you mean, or something?
Or not necessarily. Yeah, like hasn't progressed the genre or become like a focal point that others are kind of copying and replicating. Like I think that's not something that you can plan for or like even hope for. That's just like a right place, right time kind of vibe.
Right.
Which only like a few kind of artists can kind of even hope to get. But anyways, I don't want to go too far down that. I don't want that to take away from, you know, all he has achieved.
No, it's a really interesting discussion because like we could talk about that, like the fact that you say like, is he breaking any grounds? No, but does he have a unique voice? He definitely fucking does, you know, and I think that's what probably attracts us to his music, because you just, you know, you didn't really expect this guy to be a singer, but you know, after listening to Nectar, it's really unique, you know. So he's not necessarily breaking grounds, but it's a really original approach to moody hip hop and R&B. So yeah.
How would you feel like this artist compares to say like another kind of guy that's done R&B electronic in a similar niche, maybe for a little bit longer, like Blood Orange, for example, he's still kind of niche. He's not quite in the mainstream, in the know, but you could still see him on like the vinyl rack at Urban.
Yeah, I would say let's see. I'd say I can't really trust the fans also like section, but all right. So for example, there's another moody hip hop artist that goes by the name of Bryson Tiller, and he's a really popular name, and the genre is, you know, really moody, kind of dark, atmospheric, you know, but then like he has a really nice melodic R&B voice, you know, and I'd say it's all about the flow. And when it comes to Joji's music, he doesn't necessarily have like the rap flow as much. It's really, if his stuff feels more ballady, slower, you know, instead of like somebody like Jeremiah or Miguel, you know, like those guys who do like that hip hop style sort of R&B, or even like Drake, even Drake, because Drake also does moody R&B too. I don't know if.
And I feel like the production can kind of sync up sometimes, like especially on Joji's newer stuff where it's like more polished. It still might have a trap beat kind of on the back, but it also has layered kind of like samples. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like his voice is, after listening to his stuff more, it's fair to say that his voice is distinguishable, right? Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think especially like with more so the tracks off of Nectar, like we already talked about. Like, it just, he's hit his stride with like how he produces himself vocally.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. He kind of changes. I feel like his style, his vocal style, kind of like in the same vein. You know, going back to Childish Gambino. You know.
Yeah, he's kind of a chameleon in that way, and that's kind of cool that he's not limiting himself. That he's allowing himself more of that.
Like he might like make this hit, and then people will be like, "Oh, that's Joji. What the hell?" You know.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how it's gonna be for the next project.
I think so. He sounds like he's the kind of guy to like try to break new ground or like experiment more, you know? And like he won't kind of like keep on going with his current sound like with Nectar, you know? I'm sure he's like gonna experiment with other things.
Yeah, I say like the funny thing about artists these days is that it's not, you don't necessarily, if you're a hip hop artist, they're like, people aren't necessarily asking you to continue doing rap or hip hop or anything, you know, because you could, I feel like these days people are just changing genre left and right. If you look at somebody like Machine Gun Kelly, who started off as just like this super fast rapper, and next thing you know, he has a fucking pop punk album produced by Travis Barker. So that's like, there's really no rules to that. So
yeah, but you like know it's Machine Gun Kelly.
It is, yeah. You know it's Machine Gun Kelly, and
it sounds like Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, he's always been influenced by bands like Blink and Anti-Flag and stuff like that. So that style of music has always been with him. So I think he just wanted to do his own. But what if Joji gets into the?
I think he will. You know, he's gonna change his music, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the thing.
He seems creative enough.
Yeah, that's the thing with like him and like Childish Gambino. Like, they're good at what they do, and you can't see them sticking with one thing too long without getting bored of it or trying out other things that, you know, being satisfied with other kind of other experiments.
Right. Yeah.
So he's definitely gonna. It's just a question of, you know, what's it gonna sound like? What's it gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna see that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I think, you know, he'll probably collaborate with like Childish Gambino or something, or maybe Frank Ocean. I don't know.
There we go. Yeah, that's another one I was about to say. Frank Ocean and Joji. That'll be.
Frank Ocean for sure. That makes a lot of sense, and I feel like it hits the zeitgeist right now. Like, he's big. He kind of, his popularity kind of like reaches out across, you know, different groups of people.
Yeah, I wonder who the collaborators are going to be for his next project. But I'd say a lot of cool stuff to look forward to when it comes to Joji's music, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
pretty
glad.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad that we ended up like going with this.
Has he played Coachella yet?
I have to look it up. I don't even know.
Google it.
Let's Google it. Yeah, I don't know if he's played Lollapalooza. He's played Lollapalooza, but like I don't know if he's ever done like Coachella, Joji Coachella. Oh, 20. Oh. Okay.
Watch in the future. He's already booked.
I think he is booked for. Yes, so he was actually booked for the 2020 for Coachella, which was supposed to happen during the pandemic time. And what day?
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how big his name is on the thing. So, in the time of last year's, oh, there we go.
Share your screen if you can.
Yeah, sure, I could do that. Let me go ahead and share that with y'all. Let's see. Is it? Oh wait, no, that's not it. Oh, there we go.
You.
That's the. Do you see it?
No.
Rage? What the fuck?
Yeah. So
Now I see it.
So there's a Rage Against the Machine, Travis Scott, and Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean's playing the third day. So if you could see, Joji is actually in the this section right here. He's actually.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see
right,
it.
He's right under Tom York. Isn't
Tom
that,
York, yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So that's a.
Oh wow.
That's a big.
He kind of fits with that, with like Flume, Disclosure.
Yeah.
That's along his vibe.
Danny Elfman. What the hell?
Danny
Fuck.
Elfman of what, Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
Of
The fuck?
That
Just
fool.
blasting that Nightmare Before Christmas.
Some Simpsons soundtrack shit. Like,
I would legitimately pay to see that.
yeah, I don't know. I think we all fuck with Danny Elfman hard. So, but yeah, that's really exciting. Yeah, so Joji is playing Coachella, which I don't even know if it's even rescheduled for this year. But hey, that's exciting for him. Do you guys think he's gonna have a big crowd?
Yeah, totally.
I think so. I think there's a lot of overlap. Like people that are into like Tom York Flume.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they like Joji? It would just fit so well, right?
I'm sure his like, you know, he'll put on like some crazy ass performance too, like with a bunch of like fucking smoke and special effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bunch of smoke and shit.
Yeah, definitely got to be on acid.
Ooh.
Why don't we all take out?
Don't do drugs, kid.
Yeah, don't do drugs, but if you're at a festival, it's highly encouraged. That's what Kwan's saying. Yeah, but yeah, I thought this was like actually a really fun experience just going into Joji's music, because I was never, I'm usually skeptical about this type of stuff, but like I just never really carried myself over to listen to like his entire project or anything. So yeah, I feel like I found out a lot about him, and so yeah, I'm glad we picked this artist. Now,
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Now, I'd say like, since we're still like on the stream, like why don't we decide on who we want to do next time? Do you guys like have anybody in mind?
Do you have like a
What are the
group
options here?
Yeah, do you have options?
Some options?
Sure, yeah, I have some options.
or maybe chat can throw out
Yeah.
some artists?
Yeah, if chat has like some artists that like we want to possibly discuss about, then yeah, please mention, and we'll do a full episode on that artist. So yeah, just let us know if you guys have anything in mind, but we'll continue discussing it anyway. So yeah, I have some in my mind, but I just wanted to see like if you guys had any, if you guys personally had any sort of idea or already had any sort of like suggestion, because Joji originally came from Jesse, so
Oh, really?
yeah.
I think that
was
was one that Kazu and I had talked about before, that we both kind of said like, oh, like I definitely want to kind of dive into the Joji stuff, just because like I was hearing so much from like my niece and nephew. They were just like so into it, and I was like, I have barely even given it a shot. I might as well try it out. So in that vein, I think it would be cool to kind of look for, those type of artists that maybe, the younger kids might be listening to, might be popular now, just to see like what maybe we've missed out on that we haven't dove too far into.
So a couple ideas that I had in my mind for like maybe the next pod that we can do is one is Harry Styles, that's from One Direction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really fun one. Just because as much as I could pick like some other artists, I want to pick somebody who has like maybe like a few in their discography, you know, that we could pretty much start off with, because that way it's easy to like cover their music, plus like, you know, they are like Urban Outfitters music, so
Yeah.
So one of them that I had in my mind was definitely Harry Styles, and the other one would be, I was about to say Biba Doobie. Like, have you guys ever heard of?
Yeah. How do you hold on?
So she's like a
Yeah. Biba Doobie. Yeah.
yeah, she's like a
So here's the thing about Biba Doobie. I've already listened a little bit to Biba Doobie,
yeah
and I'm a little bit biased towards it just because I have heard a few songs
yeah
off of TikTok that like made it on viral videos that I was just like, this is a good song. Who sings this song? Oh, Biba Doobie. This kind of slaps.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's another artist called Conan Gray. That's I think this guy's half Japanese as well. But yeah, so there's a lot to pick from. But I would say like, yeah, maybe we could do it on either Biba Doobie or Harry Styles or somebody like that.
That would be cool.
Mhm.
I wonder what our friends and fans would say if we like put something up on like Twitter or something, like a poll.
Like a poll or something like that. We
Yeah.
could possibly do like a poll if you.
I think
Wait,
that would be
do you-
fun to get some engagement in.
I don't know if we have enough fans, yo.
Did I say fans? I meant like the friends that we bugged to vote on it.
Yeah. So I'd say that could be done like pretty freely. Oh, you know, I also want to mention, you know, who just entered the Urban Outfitters family is
Who?
is Phoebe Bridgers.
Ah!
What do you mean just entered?
Well,
Nice.
I'm just saying, like, I do
That's
it.
just always been an Urban Outfitters kind of artist.
Oh, you always thought that, because basically like her album Punisher has the UO exclusive version of it out, you know. So when her music, when the thing is like, when anybody's music gets to like their market, then that's how I kind of officially claim, okay, now you're an Urban Outfitters artist now. And I feel like Phoebe has become like popular enough to join that, and yeah, this album is getting so much fucking attention just from last year anyway, so we could even cover her music too if you guys are interested in doing that.
Yeah, I don't mind. Uh,
I think that would be cool. I think like Phoebe Bridgers should be on there. I think Biba Doobie should be on there.
we could do BB Doobie.
Charlie XCX. I
Charlie
could see that
Charlie XCX will be a really fun one.
because it does appeal to the newer crowd, but then old heads can get into it too.
Yeah. It depends on honestly, I think it's all gonna depend on like what y'all are feeling, because like if it's like Biba Doobie, then there's not a lot of songs you're gonna have to like listen to either. So that's gonna be a really easy one to cover if we're gonna go for it. Which
Biba Doobie's, I think
yeah.
Biba Doobie falls more in line with what I've heard,
Mhm.
more in like the revivalist kind of camp, kind of more towards Rex Orange County, where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you're not hearing too many beats and like samples and patches on there.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, some of the other artists we talked about, they're a little bit more, well, like the newest Harry Styles is a little bit more rock and raw from what
Mhm.
I've heard.
Yeah. The
And
thing-
anyways,
Yeah.
but
the
it's
thing-
still like he's very much pop, just complete pop, like with no, you know,
complete pop with no.
no. I'll finish my thought. Fine. So with no kind of like tendency towards like rock necessarily from his past, like he's
Mhm.
not tied to rock at all. He's
Yeah.
like I feel he's very much more a tourist in that rock realm. Whereas like Biba Doobie, like that's her bread and butter. She plays guitar, she writes her own songs, and it's clear, and she shows that off in like the, you know, and everything, music videos and everything.
Yeah, no, there's actually a couple UO artists who are what do you call? Hey, actually, like since we were on the topic of Joji, I think it's worth talking about this too. But especially with I think Biba Doobie, she's Filipino, and with like Joji being like half Japanese and such, and also having record labels like 88 Rising, do you guys feel like it's catching attention of like a lot of Asian listeners because of seeing artists of that race and being like, oh wow, like I didn't know there was another half Japanese artist, or like, oh wow, I didn't know that there's another mainstream Filipino artist, like it's kind of like I definitely felt that way when I watched Mitski with Kwan. We actually went to go see her live fucking close to like 5 years ago or so.
Wow.
Yeah. It was an insane show. It was Mitski, Japanese Breakfast, and JSOM all together at the Constellation Room. Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah,
good show.
That was a good show, man. But
yeah, pretty legendary lineup because now they're all kind of big artists.
They're all fucking huge. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But what do you guys feel about that? Like, especially.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Do you guys feel? Oh no, I was asking. Do you guys feel like with Joji being half Japanese, like it's catching a lot of like Asian listeners? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting, like the state of the music scene right now, because it's like I'm seeing a lot more of these up and coming like Latino artists, Latinx artists.
Cuco?
We're not talking about him, he's canceled. And like Asian AAPI artists. But here's the thing, I don't think it's not that there are more artists. There might be more, but I feel like the main factor in us seeing that, because there have always been AAPI artists and there have always been Latinx artists. The thing is, I think like music festivals and record companies, promotional companies, they're seeing the market now and the crossover appeal of certain artists when they do their job well. I
think maybe not so much in R&B and hip hop though. You don't really see that, and that's probably kind of like the influence, of seeing like more representation in like hip hop and R&B. That's like a big deal, right?
Yeah, and with knowing that Joji was like the first Asian artist to hit Billboard and stuff like that.
That is true.
Yeah,
like true.
Like certain genres.
I guess I'm thinking on more of a kind of like, singer-songwriter, alternative indie kind of level.
Right. But even in that scene, like even in that scene, I feel like there's not a lot that I can point to, right?
Yeah, no, definitely true. Definitely true.
But I think they have been there.
Totally, yeah.
Like even if it was fucking like James Iha and like Smashing Pumpkins, even if they might not have been at the forefront, there are artists in every culture, and in American culture there are in just English speaking culture, there are API and Latinx artists kind of within it that are kind of doing their own thing, and I think it's cool to start seeing that representation more as as like a minority living in like a like a majority white kind of country, and that I think that encourages other kind of artists like us to continue to push, and maybe artists that wouldn't have normally paid it as much attention. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of funny that you mentioned James Iha, because I was trying to think of like what are some of the older bands that has Asian artists, and yeah, like the other one that comes to mind is like Joey Santiago from Pixies. I mean, he's he's Filipino. That's been in this like like this band since like the 80s. So yeah, they are around, but I guess like people who's like fronting it, like we probably didn't like really see many of that. So
yeah, singer-songwriter types. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if like rise of K-pop has like contributed to like any of that too.
Maybe.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. And that's another thought, like for another pod, maybe we can talk about the rise of K-pop and like showcase one or two artists, like BTS, Blackpink, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like the opposite, that K-pop is taking on more outside foreign influences in their music, and then it being exported out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true. That's true.
Seeing like them seeing, are you saying, Kwan, that like K-pop producers and promoters are seeing more kind of like opportunity to cross over and are trying to kind of like take on newer influences to exploit
Yeah,
that?
like K-pop is big in its own, right,
Mhm.
and in obviously Korea, but like now it's taken on a lot of like American hip hop influences, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now it's like reaching, these markets, like the Americans and like all around the world. And the story with the story of K-pop is that it's just kind of like becoming more like I guess pop music,
Yeah.
It's no longer just like K-pop. It's like now like on the pop charts.
True. And they're out there like selling out fucking Rose Bowl and stuff. So it's gotten big enough to the point where, yeah, it's not we're not even like including just Korean audience anymore. It's part of America now, So I think that's like a huge deal.
Like the British invasion, but it's the Korean invasion.
It's the Korean
Yes.
invasion, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. K-pop it stands.
It's the Asian invasion, man. Yeah. Yeah, didn't really expect that.
Yellow Peril.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd say like we should like probably like wrap it up, but what do you guys think of this idea of like every time we finish a pod, one of us has to cover a track by like that certain artist?
Oh, that would be tight.
What do you mean cover?
We can include that in like if we do the YouTube VOD at the very end. It's like a little like Easter egg.
Wait, what?
Doing a cover of, let's say, like, I mean, I didn't prepare any of it, but let's say if we cover Harry Styles in one of the episodes, then one of us has to do like a cover of a Harry Styles track.
That sounds funny.
Wait, I don't play anything though.
We'll get you on somehow.
Do you know I do not play any musical instruments?
You can play shaker, so we'll find something for
Or what we could do is like we could probably just like, I mean, if I don't know if I'll like, that's the thing, Kwan, if you're interested, then like you could just like sing over like an instrumental, but let's say if it was just Jesse and I, then we'll probably take turns on like covering a track or something, even if it's like a really minor version. I think that'll be really fun. It kind of gave me a little bit of confidence after I got a bunch of requests to cover songs last night. So I think that could be like a fun thing. If not, then
yeah.
I think that would be like a really fun one. So yeah, but yeah, that is pretty much the pod, I'll say. If you guys enjoyed this pod, then don't forget to follow this channel. I know we haven't really like put up like a schedule or anything like that. This is just our first time trying this specific topic and just pod through Discord on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Thursdays and Fridays tend to be our kind of hot spot days of content.
Yeah, so like maybe Thursdays and Fridays or something like that. But I feel like people who are on Twitch, Kwan mentioned this to me. I was actually thinking about making a little schedule for a moment, but he did say that people just jump on whenever that person's online. So yeah, I'd say like we'll just have to kind of follow that and see how it's gonna go. Yeah.
Word. When's the Among Us like squad sesh?
Among Us squad sesh. I don't know, man. Last time I played Among Us was when I went to Silver Lake. It was for somebody's birthday. I think it was for Eddie's birthday.
It was Eddie's birthday. Yeah. No, we were there. I remember that. Everyone, like we were all having a lot of trouble with it, and then Eddie made us all download it onto our phones, and then Time got really upset because I think she lost, and I remember
No, it was one of those.
it got we made it all good after laughing it off.
The thing was like she was just like, I think she was just more really disappointed because like we had to like choose like who to kick out of the ship, and after all, it was like, no, you were the fucking criminal. Like, I think like there was nothing wrong with Time, like, but the thing is like because she could keep such a big poker face, like I mean, I don't know. I mean, even though like yeah, she's my girlfriend, it's like, you could just doubt somebody for a moment, especially.
We need to do Among Us. Maybe we'll do that. We'll organize that in the Discord. We got to get Time in on an Among Us sesh again.
Yeah,
get Eddie in. Get Eddie in from abroad.
Yeah. Also, another thing that I would like to do is maybe depending on the artist that we're discussing about, we could have like another guest come on and also talk about it too. So
like a guest co-host.
Yeah, like a guest co-host who happens to like that artist or something. Like we could just like have them on and like we could all discuss it together. So it could
that sounds like a whole vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this pod is a vibe, so we're just gonna try to keep it going that way. But
find us a Zoomer.
A Zoomer.
Yeah.
In Zoomer's own words. I can fish one up. Or do you guys know any Zoomers?
Yeah,
Do you talk to them?
My cousin. Yeah, my cousins. They're definitely the Zoomer era for sure. Cause yeah, they're like a decade younger than me. So one of them just turned 20, but the thing is
Does he listen to music?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, my cousin Skylar, he listens to a lot of hip hop. So like and even like current ones to I've been introducing him to like older ones and stuff too. So like I think if there's like a certain artist on, then like I would love to have him be on and such. I don't know if he's too shy, then he doesn't have to talk, but I think it'll be nice to have like a Zoomer on there that way like we could ask questions based on like so what the fuck do you guys like to listen to? Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, so sounds good to me. But anyway, whoever's on the TakeBreakKazu channel now, make sure to give it a follow, like so that next time you see me online, then you can say hi and whatnot. But aside from that, yeah, thank you for joining. Who Space Echoes has followed. Wow. Thank you so much, Space Echoes. I believe that's
man.
I believe that's what do you call you?
Yeah, that's me.
That's right. Cool. Jesse, my host, our host has given a follow, which is great. He has joined officially the TakeBreakKazu family, and yeah. But anyway, yeah. Like I said, thank you very much for viewing, and hopefully we see y'all soon. Later, y'all. Goodbye.
Peace.
I'm gonna end stream now.